single nucleotide polymorphism. What will happen if there is some single nucleotide polymorphism? Because we are already consuming a lot of drugs which are commercially available in the market. Most of the drugs, if you look into the enzyme, whatever they are targeted, so here we are mainly targeting that enzyme CYP. And I also given that mutation number also here. If there is some mutation or SNP is happening there, then what will be adverse effect? So that's what we are going to see here, and I'm going to address that thing. So you are able to see the PPT now?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, then it is good. I thought you are not able to see it. So if the main thing we are targeting is drug metabolism. So what will happen if the drug is not metabolized properly? That is the main thing. If you are looking at the drugs, most of the commonly used drugs, they are all target. So if you look into this target, what is the molecular mechanism? How we can alter the drug metabolism because of single nucleotide polymorphism? What will happen? So if you look into the thing, if the gene is completely deleted, what will happen? The particular enzyme will not be secreted, and whatever the drug candidate or whatever the drug you are giving, it's not going to be metabolized at all. It will stay there itself. If it is staying there, it will lead to a lot of toxic effect in our body. So due to drug-drug interaction and all those interactions, which is going to have a lot of adverse effect on us. So what will happen if other type of SNP will take place? So if you look into this thing, we are having three things. What is in the single gene itself? If it is having SNP, then either it will make an unstable enzyme. If it is making an unstable enzyme, the enzyme will not be stay there for a long time, so that the drug candidate, if you are giving a drug, it will not go and bind to that enzyme itself. Then finally what will happen? Because of the stability of the particular enzyme, it will not metabolize properly. Then the metabolism will be very much reduced. So if you are taking somewhere around 600 milligrams of the drug per time, means either in the morning, totally if you are taking 1800 milligrams. So what will happen if it is not metabolized properly? If it is metabolism is reduced, means it will also get accumulated. Once it gets accumulated, then it is having its own effect, because these are all chemicals. If it is staying in the body, it will lead to a lot of toxic effect. So another thing is, if it is making normal enzyme, it is okay, normal metabolism will take place and it is fine. And if it is having the substrate, if the SNP is taking place in the exact active site, then the substrate specificity will be changing completely. So instead of forming the exact metabolite, the drug will come and bind to a different place, and it will not get out of the place itself. It will have some other thing. That's what other metabolites may be forming possibly. Once it is forming other metabolites, means then it will take to different type of diseases. So these are the basic problem. And another one is that gene is duplicated or multiplicated, means then it will make too much amount of enzyme. Then the higher enzyme levels will be there. Then whatever the drug you are giving is not sufficient enough to block that particular target. Then it will increase the metabolism of that particular drug. So we need to give too much amount of the same drug. So these are the basic problems we will face. So if you look into this drug candidate, so how many drug candidates are there, and how much them are metabolized, and these are the different percentage of the drugs according to the gene, whatever you call it as the polymorphism of the gene is given there, 2C9, 2C19, 2D6, 2E1. These are the SNP I'm talking about. So if you look into this commercially available drug, you know almost all the drugs, phenylephrine, warfarin, and NSAID is one of the approval agency where it is giving a lot more drug, and it is first tested, and then finally it went through FDA and it is coming. It is going through all the Food and Drug Administration guidelines and regulation, then only it will be coming to the market. So these drugs are quite common drugs, especially omeprazole. Everyone knows about that thing. And then if you look into the particular gene CYP2D6, there are more than 60 drugs for this gene. If there is some polymorphism is taking place, then what will happen? And then ethanol, if a lot of people are consuming ethanol, ethanol is going to play a vital role at that point. CYP2 is the main gene which is coding for that, which is taking care. And then smoking people, nicotine, CYP1A6. These are the enzymes which are already known, which are commercially available, and they are going to create a lot more problem with that particular gene if there is some polymorphism taking place. So here I have put that star in that CYP2C9 star 1. Instead of 1, if it is 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are there, then the substrates for this, whatever you call it as warfarin, lostron and all these things, is going to have a different effect on that thing. And these are the phase 2 enzymes. So whatever the gene is targeted about is NAG2. And then some of the drugs I have given it here, which are also commercially available. Almost all the drugs are commercially available. Don't think that these are all taken from anywhere. These are all real data which we collected from JIPMER. JIPMER is one of the pretty good hospital in Pondicherry. It is completely governed by central government. Now it is autonomous. Day-to-day patient coming to JIPMER, maybe around more than 1,000 patients they will come. So based on that data only, I am having all these things. So these are the phase 3. Now, what will happen? Potential consequences of polymorphic drug metabolism. That's what I already told you about the enzymes. If the enzymes are at the right level, right time, right drug, no problem. If they are having some SNP, then what will happen? They will have the extended pharmacological effect. Even though if you are giving a lot more drugs, the drugs will not have that much effect on them. And then if the enzymes are not at a certain level, means then it's going to get accumulated with the particular chemical which we are taking as drug. And if it is staying there in the body itself, it's going to give a lot of toxic effect. That's what drug toxicity. And then increase the effective dose. That's the enzyme production is too much, means you need to give too much of the small molecule drug. So, and then lack of pro-drug activation. If it is there, means the drug activation will not be that much. And then metabolism by alternative and deleterious pathway. Some of the pathway will get activated and which will lead to a different type of problems. And then if the drugs gets accumulated, means it will lead to drug-drug interaction. Due to that, you will face a lot more problems. So that is the problem now we are facing related to SNPs. Yes, any questions? Yes, Anirudh. Rishi Prabhakar?
No question, sir.
No question, eh? Okay, I thought you were having some question. Based on that only I asked Anirudh. So, what you got so far I'm discussing, did you got anything? I started with why do you want to study genomics and proteomics, and then what is the real application? I have taken you directly to pharmacogenomics. Based on that pharmacogenomics, we are talking about single nucleotide polymorphism, and based on single nucleotide polymorphism, I have given you an overlook. So whatever the commercially available drug we are having in the market, those drugs, even which are all basic drugs, they are going to have some problems itself. Everyone knows about omeprazole. For what you are using omeprazole?
Rabiprazole, sir.
Omeprazole. Yes, Anirudh, you told something. Hello?
Sir, nothing, sir. I heard the name wrong.
No, it is not Ravi Prasad, it is omeprazole. It's omeprazole. Omeprazole is a quite common. I thought that you know that ranitidine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ranitidine.
Ranitidine for what you are using?
Sir, to treat acidity.
Yes, the same thing you are using omeprazole also. Ranitidine you are using it before taking food. After taking, take omeprazole. If you have that acidity problem and everything, just they will prescribe. These are all the basic drugs. You need to know. Paracetamol is one of the basic drugs. But paracetamol is also having adverse effect. And if the person is taking too much of alcohol and too much of cigarette, then they will also have a lot more other problems. Then the drug will not have the effect on that particular gene. Instead of that, it will have some adverse effect. So the aim of us to study this SNP and pharmacogenomics, so just we need to know what will happen. So even for a mild thing also, the wound will not heal. If a guy is coming and he is having some injury, means his blood need to clot immediately. If it is not clotting immediately, he is having some other problem. And that is the case if a person is having a block, they will given or the drug what they will give is to loosen the blood thickness. The blood will become very thin so that even in the block also it will flow freely. The blood will flow freely. So only they will always advise the patient whoever is having the block, and if they are taking the blood thinner, they are not advised to do shaving regularly, because if they are having some wound, because of the blood will not clot immediately. So these type of things you need to know. These are all basic sciences. Each and everything in day-to-day life, they are given that blood thinner and a lot of other things also there. So we need to find out why they are doing this and what is the reason behind it. So based on that only we are studying all these things. So if he is a poor metabolizer, here I am talking about the gene CYP2D6. So what is this gene is for? So if you look into this thing, then they are having some metabolizing problem. What type of problems they will have? They will have the decreased elimination of parent compound, especially if they are taking beta blockers. Metoprolol and timolol are the two drugs, whatever they are giving, they will not have much metabolizing capability for that because of the mutation in the particular gene. And then if they are taking that antidepressant, that drug will also not have any metabolizing problem with them. So they will have the metabolizing problem. So elimination of the parent compound is not so easy. If it gets accumulates, then we are going to face another type of problem. And then if they are having that poor metabolizing thing, they are having the pro-drug activation, especially the other drug, if they are taking, they are not going to have the pro-drug activation. And then elimination of active metabolite, decrease the elimination of active metabolite. So what will happen if these compounds are staying in our system itself? So then we will face a lot of other problems. So what are the things? So the dosage level need to be changed. If he is having a normal gene CYP2D6, then it is fine. He can take the drug. Nortriptyline is one of the drugs where he can take 150 milligram per day. If he is having a mutant in that, then you need to take 10 to 20 milligram. Look at the thing. It is more than 10 times you need to reduce the concentration. If you are using the same amount of thing, then you will have a lot more side effects. And there is another thing called as if they are having a mutation in the gene CYP2C9, phenytoin, if they are taking, if they are having a mutation that I put it as 1/1, then you can take 340 milligram per day. But if he is having mutation that is 1/2, then he needs to take 193 milligram. And then if it is having 2/3, it is exactly half of the concentration of 1/1 mutation, 150 milligram per day. We need to take it out. We are taking overdosage, then it will have a lot more adverse effect. So another thing is diazepam. Everyone heard about this thing. It's lower in Asians when compared to Caucasians. You know which population is called as Caucasian population?
White people, sir.
What is it?
White people. Europeans.
Europeans, yes. Europeans and almost all the Western population, Americans. I'm not talking about South Americans, North Americans.
Yes, sir.
Whoever is migrated.
Yes, sir.
So they will have a problem with that thing. Metabolism is very slow. If you look into the mutant of this CYP2C19 is the gene coding for that. And then if you look into the half-life period of this drug, that is playing a very vital role in that. So already I told you, there will be some expiry date in each and every drug you are taking. If you are looking at that and consuming that drug. The first class itself I told you, you need to look at the expiry date. Without looking at the expiry date, you are not supposed to take it. Then Subhash will ask, so what will happen if I am taking that? Half-life of us will be decreased. Because everything is a chemical. These are all chemicals. Each and every chemical is atom. It can't be in the same form for throughout the lifetime. It will be there in the tablet form, but it will not have its activity. It will degrade. So if you are taking it, then it's going to have adverse effect. That's what happened in 2010. One of the guys from Kadalur, you know about paracetamol syrup. It's given for all the infants, kids, up to the age of 3 and 4, they will give only paracetamol syrup. What this guy did, he collected all the paracetamol syrup which are all expired from the market, from almost all the drugstore, and he brought it to the manufacturing unit. He removed the label and he put a fresh label on that and he sent it back to the market. And a lot of kids died when it happened. A lot of infants, less than 1 year old, died because of consuming this expired syrup. And then it was went to the court and that guy was arrested and finally he was out of jail itself. Because our regulations and guidelines are not that much stringent enough. So there is one. Here we are not giving that much. Excuse me. Here we are not giving that much importance to human life. That is the problem with our regulations. So that's what I already told you. In Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, the Union Carbide gas tragedy happened in 1980s. So far, they never get the compensation. Lot of them get, but they never got the compensation for that. Because our regulations are not stringent enough. So we need to find out a way. The human life, or what I can tell that, its most precious one. Here they are playing with the human life itself by sending a lot more wrong messages and everything. Now also they are talking about the vaccine. So far whatever the vaccine we are having is okay. Covishield and Covaxin. It's having efficacy more than 75%. Everyone is advised to take the vaccine. It's not going to have any adverse effect. But most of the people are sending rumors in WhatsApp and almost all the messages. Getting vaccine within 6 to 8 months is not so easy. Moderna is a pretty good vaccine which was made by Pfizer. which can't be easily transported in our country. It is okay for Western countries because their weather is entirely different. Now in our country, the summer already started. It's more than 34 degrees Celsius, which is not so easy to transport. But Covishield and Covaxin is doing pretty good. Now they relaxed, above 18 years they can get the vaccine. So my suggestion is, if you find time, just go and get the vaccine. That is the only thing, because now the second wave is picking up in our country, throughout the country, everywhere it is picking up. So take precautionary measure, don't roam here and there, always wear mask and take care of yourself. Okay? So only we are not in the campus or any other thing. So we will find out when everything is gone, then we will open the university and then we can come. In the meantime, we need to take a lot of preventive measures. Our life is very important. Okay? So any questions? For Anirudh?
Yes, sir.
No question, huh?
No, sir.
No, the other thing, as I told you, omeprazole. Omeprazole is one of the important things we are discussing. Especially, they are giving it for H. pylori. Everyone knows about H. pylori.
Yes, sir.
H. pylori. What it will cause?
Peptic ulcer.
Yes. Ulcer, if you are not taking food properly and proper time, you will get ulcer. One thing, because of the digestive enzymes, it will do a lot of malfunction with the mucous membrane. Once the mucous membrane is lost, means then only you will have a lot of problems. So in order to do that thing only, they are always asking you to take omeprazole before taking your food. And after that, whatever the drug you want, you can take it. So that is the one thing. And another one is Helicobacter pylori. Because of this also, it will have ulcer. So if you are having H. pylori, just they will do the endoscopy. From that, they will do the culture and they will come to the conclusion that you are having the infection of H. pylori. So what will happen if you are advised to take omeprazole 20 milligram per day and amoxicillin 2 gram, milligram and gram. Amoxicillin is, what is amoxicillin? Do you have any idea about amoxicillin? Yeah, think about that and we will discuss about what is amoxicillin. So these are the main things they will do. One is the antibiotic. So if there is a mutation CYP2C19 and you are allowed to take only 20 milligram per day, and then the curing rate will be 29% only if it is in the wild type. The mutant one, then it's going to have 60%, and then H1Z mutant is happening there, means then you will have the curing rate will be 100% by using omeprazole and amoxicillin. So these are the real data which they collected from the patient and I got it from them. These I am not making it. Okay, and then comes the drug transporters. If you look into the drug transporters are playing a very vital role because you are taking orally, you are taking what there, how it will be distributed. That is very important. And what are the genes involving in that? We need to find it out. You know about P-glycoprotein is there, which is playing a very vital role. And there are a lot of proteins, and then the transporters, ABC transporters are there, which are playing a very vital role in this. So what will happen? And we are taking some of this drug, if there is some mutations, what will happen? That's what we are going to see in the next class. So if you have any, let us discuss now. Arnav? Pranav, no question, huh?
No, sir.
Oh, no question means you never understood anything.